גברת עליזה לוין.
Thank you, Chairman Forer and members of the committee and distinguished guests. Really, thank you for inviting me to participate in this important hearing. My name is Alyza Lewin, and I'm an attorney based in Washington, D.C. Much of my professional career has been devoted to pursuing legal initiatives on behalf of the Jewish people. My father and law partner, Nathan Lewin, and I brought the first lawsuit in the United States on behalf of Jewish victims of terror, seeking damages from groups in the U.S. that were providing material support to Hamas. My father and I were also responsible for the lawsuit that reached the U.S. Supreme Court twice and paved the way for American citizens born in Jerusalem to list their place of birth on their U.S. passports as Israel. And most recently, I led the team that represented Avi Zinger, the Israeli manufacturer and distributor of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, in his lawsuit against the ice cream company which prevented an unlawful boycott of Israel. I currently serve as the president of the Lewin D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under Law, and in that capacity, I speak nearly every day to students who experience anti-Semitism, like the two students you just heard from. The stories they tell me share some common themes. First, administrators and the general public do not understand anti-Semitism. Many, as Mark Rotenberg said, are able to recognize Jew hatred when it comes from white supremacists, such as swastikas spray painted on a wall or overt denial of the Holocaust. But often, administrators are unable or unwilling to recognize other forms. They do not understand that anti-Semitism shows up differently in every generation. The one constant about anti-Semitism, however, is that no matter what the century, the Jews are always the scapegoat. Anti-Semites believe the world would be a better place without the Jews. Today, we have a Jewish collective, the Jewish nation-state of Israel. So today, it's not only individual Jews that are blamed, it is often the Jewish state that is labeled as the villain. For example, there are those who accuse Israel of being the world's worst violator of human rights, while being stunningly indifferent to human rights abuses of countries such as North Korea, Syria, China, and Iran. Anti-Semitism has always sought to other the Jew, to treat the Jew as unacceptable company, to deny Jews their place in society. Today, anti-Semitism seeks to do the same to the Jewish collective. It seeks to deny the one and only Jewish homeland its place in the society of nations. Israel is the only country in the world that is told it has no right to exist. That is contemporary anti-Semitism, but most of the world fails to recognize it as such. The second common theme is that most administrators and the general public do not understand Zionism and Jewish identity. They do not appreciate that Judaism is an ethno-religion, a belief system inextricably connected to cultural heritage, traditions, history, and land. The connection between the Jewish people and the land of Israel permeates the Jewish calendar, Jewish life cycle events, Jewish law, Jewish prayer, and Jewish history. It is impossible to separate our Jewish ancestry from this land. The Jews are indigenous to Judea. Today, to be a Zionist means you recognize and celebrate the Jewish people's connection to one another and our deep-rooted tie to the land of Israel. It means you believe the Jewish people have a right to self-determination in some borders in our ancestral homeland. It does not mean that you have no criticism of Israel's policies. You can criticize the Israeli government and still be a Zionist. For most Jews, our Zionism is an integral component of our Jewish identity. Today, Jewish students are increasingly being vilified, harassed, and shunned. University administrators are failing to protect these students because they mistakenly think that what they are witnessing on campus is a political debate. But make no mistake, ostracizing, marginalizing, or excluding Jews on the basis of the Zionist component of their Jewish identity is not speech. It is discriminatory and unlawful conduct, and it must be recognized and condemned as such. The third common theme is that campus anti-Semitism is not about Israel's policies. It is about Israel's right to exist. The surge in anti-Semitism on campuses that we are witnessing today is the result of an organized, well-funded campaign to delegitimize and destroy the Jewish state. It is not about 1967 borders. It's not about settlements or even the quote-unquote occupation. Those responsible for spearheading this harassment have one goal, and that is to end Israel's existence as the homeland for the Jewish people. If you don't believe me, just look at this map. This map was distributed by Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, at Tufts University as part of a campaign called Deadly Exchange. This campaign blames Israel and the Jews for police brutality in America. Israel does not exist on this map. All of Israel is labeled as, quote, occupied territory. When people chant, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," this map is what they mean. On campuses today, this map has become the litmus test. To be on the right side of racial and social justice, students are pressured to accept this map and deny Jews the right to self-determination in any borders of the Jews' ancestral homeland. So what can you do? First, I encourage all the members of this committee to educate yourselves about contemporary anti-Semitism. Read the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, the IHRA working definition of anti-Semitism, and especially the included examples. There you will learn how contemporary anti-Semitism manifests. The IHRA definition makes clear, and I quote, that, quote, criticism of Israel similar to that leveled against any other country cannot be regarded as anti-Semitic. At the same time, the IHRA definition includes examples of anti-Semitism such as the following, and I quote, denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, e.g., by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor. Or another example that I quote, applying double standards by requiring of it, Israel, a behavior not expected or demanded of any other democratic nation. And finally, another example that's included there is, quote, holding Jews collectively responsible for actions of the state of Israel. Reading IHRA will give you a better understanding of how contemporary anti-Semitism demonizes, delegitimizes, and applies a double standard to Israel. Second, understand that what happens in Israel does not stay in Israel. What you say and do spreads with lightning speed and has ramifications for Jews around the globe. And third, remember that self-confidence and pride is the best antidote to harassment and discrimination. But the key to that self-confidence is knowledge and education. Jews cannot express confidence in an identity that they know little about. It's therefore essential that Jews in both the diaspora and in Israel learn more about Jewish history, Jewish heritage, culture, literature, prayer, and philosophy. We need curricula that will instill in our children pride in their roots. These programs should include mention of the tremendous contributions to the world that Jews and Israel have made over the centuries. No one has the right to demand that Jews shed their Zionism or their pride in their ancestral heritage. We must push back against this new form of erasive anti-Semitism, which seeks to revise Jewish history and deny the uniqueness of Jewish identity. When Jews are marginalized and excluded on the basis of a fundamental element in their ancestral heritage, society must condemn it as harassment and discrimination. And finally, we must appreciate the richness and diversity of Jewish peoplehood. we must understand that whether you are Chiloni, Dati, or Haredi, whether you are Ashkenazi, Sfaradi, or Mizrahi, whether you are Yemini or Smolani, we are all Am Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael is our homeland. Thank you.